Hey, guys, this is Chris Danger, and you're listening to the greatest podcast out there, Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is Kroll, and you're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling with Jimmy Street and Jarrett the Plastic Sheik. Be sure to like, subscribe, and view all of our USWO and Saw Wrestling content at Nashville Wrestling Network, exclusively on YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and I'm here as always with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What's up, Sheik? How you doing?
Oh, doing a little good. Trying to survive this heat that we've got in the States at the moment. But to help cool us off a little bit, I did bring a little charisma with me.
Oh, you brought Quinton Quarisma. Not only is he the territory wrestling guru, but the co-host with the Mo-host. He's here today.
The very one.
Hey, what's up, Q? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's it going, guys?
Man.
Good, buddy. Good.
Yeah, we're all just melting. I almost died 3 times mowing the grass the other day. So, yeah. When the air is hotter, like coming in than it is leaving your body, you know, that's man. But sweated buckets and got a good sunburn. So, hey, that's the summer mowing for everyone.
Were you blowed up like I was in the tent at the stockyard?
Yes, definitely. Yes, the exact way, actually. So, yeah. So, hey, before we go any further, I want to say a special congratulations to our little bro and roving reporter Mason Mitchell on the birth of his daughter Meadow. Can't wait to see her. Hope Jess and the family are doing awesome. Love you, little bro, and supreme congratulations to you, man.
Yes, sir. Congrats, brother.
Congrats.
Yeah, we're extremely happy for you, little bro. We know you're going to be an awesome dad, just like an awesome little bro you are. So, but you know what's cool today? Not only do we have a new little niece in our family, but we've got Chris Danger on the podcast, y'all. So, Chris Danger, longtime manager in the Middle Tennessee scene, but also he is the longtime manager of Rick Reynolds. Very fiery guy, got a lot of great stories. Can't wait to hear him. Tell him a little bit about Danger, Q.
Chris Danger, I met him, I think it was like 98. Met him working for Brian Cheatum.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that Brian Cheatum, nobody liked him, nobody wanted to use him, and he worked really hard and got out and became a really good manager.
Yeah, definitely. Cool vibe about him. I think he's got some great stories, especially some of the ones that Rick has shared with me. So very excited about that. And, you know, we've been meaning to have him on for a while, but today is actually the day. So y'all be excited for that. But before that, I got to do a little business. And the business is on July 17th, the premiere episode of This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma drops on the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast feed. Y'all are going to love it, enjoy it. We're super excited to hear it and listen to it, and we're super excited to be there with you, Quinton. Are you still working on it, brother? I'm sure you've stayed up nights working on this.
I have been working on it every night, just little by little, trying to find some stuff and, you know, get it going. Try to make it really good for the first episode.
Oh yeah, man. We know you will. We're excited for that. I just think this is, we're on the path of a new venture in the podcasting land, and I just hope everybody comes along and joins with us. So while we're still waiting for This Month in Wrestling History, once again, that drops on July 17th. I say let's wait no longer for Chris Danger. What do y'all say?
Let's get him and see if he's got any stories about Rick Reynolds.
Let's do it.
I think he will. We'll be right back with Chris Danger after these messages.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you guys. Be blessed.
All right, we are back with more from the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And man, oh man, we've got a cool one today. And I got to say this off the start, okay? So first off, we've got to introduce our guest, the one and only Chris Danger, longtime manager of one of our favorite wrestlers ever, Rick Reynolds, and great friends. And so this is the funny part, okay? So about 2 years ago or so, Monte Carlo was releasing some stuff about the WMF medium rare YouTube channel, okay? And during that first video he released, there was a moment that I could have sworn he said, Chris Gatlin, you're coming in, and he comes in, and again, I'm not as familiar with Chris Gatlin or unfortunately Chris Danger at this point in my life. And Chris says, and I thought it was just this fiery promo that Gatlin ripped off, and no disrespect to Chris Gatlin. Rusty, you're awesome, buddy. Glad we had you on the show. But it was actually Chris Danger who was tearing up this ripping promo. And I was like, everybody I was saying it to, I was like, yeah, man, I saw him say this awesome promo. I was like, I don't know about that Chris Gatlin, but that might be Chris Danger. And hey, Rusty, nothing but love, brother. But Chris, man, I got to say, bro, your promos kind of give me like a little bit of a Troy Graham Dream Machine vibe to them. You're a little different than me when I delivered a promo. You're a yeller.
Right.
It's a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
You have a solid. Did you take anything from the Dream Machine at all, or is that even something you even thought of? Or
No, I don't know. It just felt right for the gimmick I was doing. And, I watched a lot of, Paulie, Dangerously, and and I just thought, because that's where I got my name from.
okay.
Was Paul Dangerously. I was sitting in the back, and I thought, Chris Danger. I didn't want to use it, exactly like you. Yeah, that's where I got my name from. And I don't know. It comes across. I guess my gimmick just come across that way.
Okay. So, okay. Well, no, bro, I love it.
Sometimes it was good, and sometimes it was a little over the top. But it fit with what I was doing. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, it worked for me, man. I enjoyed it. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. So we're very glad to have you on the show, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We got some cool questions for you today. We're going to have a little fun if you're ready to roll, brother.
Yep, ready to go. Again, thank you, and I appreciate y'all letting me come on here. privilege.
Yeah, man, of course, brother. Absolutely. Well, we always start every episode off with the Plastic Sheik's favorite question. Sheik, take it away.
All right, Chris. So this is a question that, you hear a lot, but it's my favorite, so I claim it as my question. But if you had some wrestlers, and we're going to ask you managers too, you can combine them or you can put two separate lists. I'd prefer the two lists if you want, but you can do it whichever way. But wrestlers and managers, Mount Rushmores, like 4 or 5 names for each that you have that like either influenced you, you like to watch, you like to work with, whatever.
Right. Mine's probably going to be a little different because my Mount Rushmore is the people that helped me the most and influenced me as far as working with. So, the first one is Rick Reynolds.
Hey, good name.
He taught me so much, and he made me understand the business and made me understand psychology. And the next one would have to be, Shane Morton.
Man.
And then another one that I rode in the car with many a times and learned a lot of things from, and that was Quinton Quarisma.
Hey.
Quinton taught me a lot.
Thank you, man.
And he really did. He taught me a lot, and it was, it's fun riding down to shows together because that's what we talk about. Is we talk about wrestling and the psychology. And then Boogie is another one that I got to work with, and probably Steve Morton.
Okay.
That would be my Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. Now, as far as managers go, Cat Taylor I learned a lot from Cat Taylor. He, when I got in the business, he was probably the best manager out there. And then I kind of tried to, I thought that, Jimmy Hart and Bobby the Brain Heenan was 2 guys I really watched growing up as far as on, WWF.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And stuff like that. And it just, and I tried to take a little bit of everybody and make it my own.
Yeah.
And, and that's probably my managers. So, yeah.
Dude.
Great list.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Might even fit in with our upcoming Mount Rushmore of Middle Tennessee.
There you go.
That was good. So as we always do after the Plastic Sheik, I take back over here and we go back to you, man. So tell us about your younger days. Like, when were you born and kind of when you started liking wrestling?
Well, I was born in Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
And from there, we moved to Oklahoma for a couple years, and then I moved to Murfreesboro when I was like 6, and I've been here ever since.
Okay.
My grandmother would watch Jackie Fargo, and she would get so mad when Jackie Fargo was getting beat up or, was getting whooped up or something like that. She would be screaming. She's a God-fearing woman, and I was like, what is wrong with you? She goes, don't you talk to me while my Jackie Fargo's on TV. Yes, ma'am. So I started watching it then, but I guess I really started watching it when I was about 12 or 13, because that's when cable first started coming out. And I would get WTBS 605, watch The Horsemen, and, watch that NWA.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just, that was great. And then I would be able to pick up the WWF at night. And, I can remember the first time I seen Hulk Hogan, I thought, what is this? And,
no doubt.
And he was managed by Freddie Blassie, actually, when I was. So, but I started watching it, probably when I was, 8 or 9, my grandmother, but then I really started watching it when I was a teenager, and I've just been hooked ever since.
Yeah.
All right, Danger.
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir, man. Come on.
Okay. You got it.
So let's talk a little bit about your start in wrestling, your trainer. I came in toward the end of there, so I don't know the actual start of it. So did you actually start training to wrestle, or was it you just trained to be a manager?
Well, this is a funny story. Me and Mikey Wood worked together, and Mikey, like I said, me and Mike Wood worked together, and we were talking one day about wrestling, and he said, hey, man, why don't you come with me? I'm going to go do some training. I go, what? And he said, yeah, I'm going to do some training over here in Leanna. And I said, okay. So I went home, And my stepson, best friend, Mean Matt, was there, Nathan. And he was the only guy that would ever watch wrestling with me out of all of my stepson's friends. And I told him that, what I was doing, and he wanted to go too. So the first time that I guess it really wanted training, I just went to watch. And they was in Leanna, in that back room where all you could fit in there was a ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember they were doing, they were going through matches and doing some matches, and they didn't have a ref. And Brian Cheatum said, "Hey, do you know how to ref?" And I've never done it before. I watched it on TV. I guess I'd give it a shot. So that's basically how I got started. I reffed. And I'd ref during the shows. He liked the way I ref. He said, "We want you to be the ref." So actually, was a ref for probably the first couple months. And then Brian asked me if I would like to be a manager because, I didn't want to actually get in the ring and wrestle because I was worried, I get hurt and I've got no income.
Yeah.
But I actually, I said, "Yeah, I'd love to be a manager." So that's when they just threw me in. I turned heel. Because when I was a ref and I turned heel, and I think he was there, Quinton, because I changed the name as soon as I turned to WMF because I owned the company. At that time, they set it up to where I would own the company, so I'm the one that changed it to WMF. And
so what was that name before? I could never remember it.
I think it was CCW, Classic Championship Wrestling. It was just something generic.
Okay.
And they wanted to go to Wrestling Mayhem Federation. And George was the owner, and I was in a little match with him. And if you remember, I think he was the ref.
Was it? I don't remember none of this.
Yeah, he was the ref because I remember I tatered him pretty good, and I remember Quinton going, "Oh, God, that hurt." Right in the middle of the ring. And I won, and that's when I just, I started doing the manager thing. And, I guess I was trained by all of y'all trained me, really. Just, the veterans trained me.
Yeah.
And I just listened to what y'all said, but yeah, and then I started being a manager.
Nice. I'm glad I didn't remember none of that. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it was, I managed the Dangerous Dynasty is what it was.
Nice.
Yep.
The only two things I pretty much remember from Leanna, Tennessee was the night that we had to have the show outside, and Gypsy Joe beat the crap out of Big Phil. And then the only other thing I remember was the last night in Leanna when they had the big brawl out on the front porch with Shane Morton and everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's when Tim Brown was there. And, me and I went to the back, and Tim was sitting there, and "I'm sorry, man." I said, "That ain't your fault. Stuff happens. It got out of control, and, they said they was going to sue me because I own the company." And I thought, well, okay. I guess I'm doing my job right because they believe I do, so. But yeah, we only did it not too long before that big Rumble went out, and then he moved to Grand Slam, or moved to the indoor soccer field over there.
Yeah.
What is your memories of Brian Cheatum during those early years in Leanna?
My memories of Brian Cheatum. He was very passionate for what he did. He wanted it done right. He was very passionate. He took care, he helped everybody. He helped us. And he was actually he was a really good worker.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like him, a lot of the older guys, and I guess it's because they just, I think he got screwed with a deal, and he just basically said, "I'm going to do it my way."
Yeah.
And so he did, and, Brian was always very good to me. He always, asked my opinion, even though I didn't know a thing. He always asked my opinion, and one thing he did, he always paid us.
No.
He never didn't pay, but he always paid us. And, he was I was very loyal to Brian.
Yeah.
Extremely loyal to Brian. It's just because, he gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
And, he helped me he helped me become a manager, things I shouldn't do. And then I'd listen to him, and then I started listening to when they started bringing, veterans in.
Yeah.
It really picked it up.
So the first time he shut down, when he shut down Leanna, and in between Leanna, Tennessee, and Smyrna, Tennessee, there was like a 6-month period where he didn't run. Did you go work anywhere else during that time?
No, that's the thing. I didn't work anywhere else, and it's because I really didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Me and Nathan, let me rephrase this. Me and Nathan, Shane called us because Shane worked Leanna a couple of times. Shane called me, and Shane called Nathan and wanted us to work the Armory in Columbia, asked us if we would come up there and work. And once again, at that time, I did not realize that wrestling is a self-promoting business. I didn't understand that. And we were very loyal. Me and Nathan both said, "No, man, we're just going to wait for Brian to open back up. We're just going to wait." And that's basically what we did.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I wish I wouldn't have done that because I would have been farther along.
Yeah.
But it's just something that you learn from your mistakes. And like I said, I was so green and didn't understand that you have to go out there and promote yourself. So, but no, I didn't. That was it for.
I'll say something about Shane though, and Shane is a mentor to me, 100%. And Shane will relay a story to you, and you will learn something from it, but you do not realize all the time that you're learning something from it at the time. And so it's happened to me many times where Shane will lay a little knowledge on me, and it won't click until like a month or so later. Sometimes it's immediate, but sometimes it's like a month or so later. And I'm like, man, I should have, wait a second. I just missed out on something there. But so I don't know if that is what happened to you with the 6 months thing, but anyway, but being true to Brian, I understand that too,
Hey, Danger.
He asked me, yeah.
For the people listening, when you say Nathan, you're talking about Matt Dillinger, right?
Yeah, Mean Matt. Yeah, Mean Matt. I called him Nathan because I've known him ever since he was 10.
Yeah.
So he's my stepson's best friend. So, I just call him Nate. And if, it was, God rest his soul, he really turned out to be a heck of a worker.
Oh, and, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He understood. I mean, he understood the business, and he learned. He even went and worked up in Cincinnati. Who he worked for? Was it Les Thatcher? Is that who he worked for?
He went and worked for Les Thatcher at Heartland. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he actually got to work with some really good workers up there. So
That's very cool. Very cool. That's legit. Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of legendary promoters that have ran awesome promotions, I want to ask about this one. Tell us about your first time going to work for Tony Falk in Madison, Tennessee.
Tony Falk. Man, that was a fun one. I went and he come up to the show, Brian's show, and actually I was working with Mark and Troy. I was managing Mark and Troy, and he invited me down there and to manage Mark and Troy.
Okay.
I was like, yeah. And I was starstruck. I was the biggest Mark you could even imagine because it's Tony Falk. I watched Tony Falk forever, and and he treated me very respectfully, and I loved working for him because he was fun to work with, and he put us in I can't remember, it was me and Mark, and Troy was working, I can't remember who he was, one of them was Gypsy Joe, and that was the first time I ever worked with Joe. It scared me to death because all I could picture is what he did to Phil in Leanna. And I'm like, man, I kept telling Troy, I said, I'm telling you, dude, I'm not going to run, but God, please keep him away from me. Troy just laughed. But in that old gym, that Excalibur, they had a, I don't know, a bucket or something over there, and it had like medieval implements in it. I mean, it had like spears and medieval implements in it. And we walked out in the ring, and I kept looking at that box. Joe's going around the ring. I said, Joe grabs them things. I'm out of here, boys. Probably about 10 minutes later, Joe went over and started grabbing them medieval implements. And I'm like, dude, he's going to lose his mind and kill us all. And Troy and him just laughing. And I'm like, no, man, I'm telling you, man, this guy's nuts. And I didn't know Joe back then. I was just seeing, and I thought, oh, my God. But, God loved Joe, man. He never done anything. major, but that's all I could picture. Him just coming here and stabbing everybody, and
Yeah.
get up, man, you need to bump, you muddy.
Yeah.
Joe just.
Yeah, the stab is Rick's gimmick, though. You forgot that. Stab.
So. Well, yeah, that's true. Stab, definitely, yeah.
Stab. Tell us about your first time working in old Petersburg, Tennessee.
Oh, God. I knew Quinton was going to say something.
How'd you know that came from
Anyway, because I know Quinton. We talk about it every time we get together.
Okay.
I never worked there, and I think me and Quinton rode up there together. And I don't know have you ever been there, because they had the stage and then they had the dressing rooms, separate dressing rooms.
Yeah.
And you had the stage and you had to walk down the steps to get down to the ring.
Okay.
Off the stage. They called us, and I was doing more of a kind of a Playboy thing then. I had nice dress shoes, nice dress pants, nice dress shirt, and I had a cane. And I thought, man, I was so excited about going there because that was my first time in Petersburg. And Quinton goes, all right, let's go. And I'm walking across the stage, running my mouth, doing the thing. And I stepped down on the step, and I don't know what happened, but it was like I stepped on a banana peel. I just launched straight up in the air.
Oh, man.
Fell on my ass and just bounced down the steps. And all I heard was,
oh,
my God. That was Quinton laughing.
That's pretty good, Quinton.
Man, I just got to get it back up and just go with it, man. I didn't know what else to do. Yeah, I just got up and went with it. That was my first time ever in Petersburg.
Oh, my God, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just am trying to picture myself doing that. And what would I do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. That's so funny. And then hearing Quinton
There's
behind
nothing you can do. Oh, yeah, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you just got to go with it,
It would be
and
better.
Quinton just laughed.
Yeah. If you could have worked it into the end of the match, maybe that would have been better. But
Right, it would have been great, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm
If
sorry.
I was a little bit smarter, I probably would have done something like that when I walked back out, but I didn't think about it. That was my first experience with Petersburg.
Yeah, man. Okay.
I still laugh about it. It's hilarious. I can still see it in my head.
Oh, yeah.
We used to come across that stage and we would go down the steps. The next thing look, he's flying down. Boom, 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 boom. I couldn't help it.
I go all the way down.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's bad, man. I just bounced all the way down. Literally, I look like a damn cartoon. Just boom, 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 boom. I just hear Quinton laughing and everybody just falling out. And I'm like, oh, well.
That is one thing I just noticed is actually, I think you might be able to do a good Quinton Charisma impersonation. I heard.
Yeah. That laugh was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his laugh, I can tell, I can catch him. I mean, if he laughs in a crowd of 500 people, I'll find him. Because he just got that laugh.
Yeah.
He just got that laugh that you can't. Yeah. Quinton's here. So.
Yeah, Quinton's here. That's how we know he's still here with us on the show, is when somebody says something funny. He'll just
he laughs.
A little laugh in the background. Okay, he's still here. We're good.
Yeah, he's still here. Not sleeping.
So, Chris, in 2001, Brian Cheatum shut down. Where did you go after that?
When Brian Cheatum actually shut down, I went to, I was fortunate enough to be able to get hooked up with Steve Bryant and Randall. So I did McMinnville.
Okay.
Every other weekend, and then we do Petersburg every other weekend. And then I started working with Shane in Columbia at the Armory.
Got it.
But yeah, Petersburg, I did, Petersburg and McMinnville. And then I'd actually do Shelbyville. Shelbyville would run, I think it was Thursday night.
Yeah, it's Thursdays.
Yeah, and I run Shelbyville too.
Okay.
So that's when I started getting out and actually understanding what, this business is all about.
See what Shane told you months ago. You are now knowing it now. The light bulb went off.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And that's another one of those stories that, he kind of tells you and you don't realize he's telling you what he's telling you and teaching you. And you just, like you said, a couple months down the road, I should have listened to Shane.
It's like, wait a second.
But yeah. Started working with Steve, and they actually put me and Jammer together.
Nice.
I managed Jammer.
Okay.
And managed Jammer and Vandy. I don't know if y'all remember Vandy or not.
Vandy Fultz.
Jammer's
brother.
Managed Vandy. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Bandied those two, and got to work with Big Pete, and
man,
yeah, worked with a lot of those. I worked with Big Pete, and actually worked with James Storm.
Oh yeah,
back when he was still learning.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was. And actually, I started 6 months after he did because he got hurt real bad.
Oh.
And he had to stop his training with Shane, and then he come back in 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember. He turned out to be a great worker.
Heck yeah, he did. He turned it into something for sure.
Great worker. Yeah, he did.
So going forward a little bit here. So not forward necessarily in time, but when did you another intimidating type fellow? Were you intimidated the first time you ever met Rick Reynolds, and when did you first meet Rick?
I was scared to death. I'm just be honest with you. I was scared to death because I heard stories. And the bad thing about it is when you're in the business, these stories are, some of them may be true, but you know how the boys are. They make a mountain out of a molehill.
Right.
And I had to work. They said, I can't remember. Me and Nate was working, and they did a cage match against Shane, and I had to run in at a certain time in the cage. And of course, I run in way too soon, and Rick went, son of a, and as I'm kicking him, like, I'm sorry, brother, I'm so sorry, please, I'm sorry, man. And he just started laughing, but I got to work with him then, and it kind of evolved from there.
Okay.
Because he wanted to do the Forsaken thing. Yeah. And he asked me, as time went on, he asked me if I wanted to be his manager, and I was like, oh, God, yeah. So, in a heartbeat, it wouldn't even blink. And so I was very fortunate with that, because then me and him went to Chicago a lot. He got me in Chicago, and me and him went to Chicago for like 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
Twice a month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that, I promise.
Talk to us about working with Rick in Tullahoma.
Working with Rick in Tullahoma. Well, this one here, how do I put it this way? As a promoter, the one thing that I learned is you don't tell a guy that's his last night.
Yeah.
We love you, but it's your last night.
Yeah.
So UConn told me and Rick, hey guys, this is y'all's last night. We're going to do something else. Okay, no problem. Well, Rick was working Shane.
Oh.
They had this. So I knew my night was a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Because I just let them boys do their thing, and I follow right behind.
Yeah.
And so, once again, I was still I was coming along, but I was still a little green, and there's certain things I didn't catch as quick as I should have. Well, one of them is Rick was feeding Shane to me for me to hit him, and I didn't catch it quick enough. And I remember Rick just stopped right in the middle of the ring and just started clapping his hand and goes, "Come on, damn it, come on, get busy." I was like, oh my God.
BC
gonna
Rick.
Kill me? I'm thinking, yeah. And I'm thinking he's going to kill me when we get back there. He's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. So the end of it was they was going to run in and jump on Rick. That was the end of it. A couple guys was going to come in and jump on Rick to help Shane out. Yeah. Well, Shane was in there. Well, they come out about 30 seconds too early. And the moment I seen him hit the ring, I thought, well, that's it. I'm off the hook now. I ain't got nothing to worry about. And I didn't, because Rick forgot everything that I did and focused it all on them guys hitting the ring because they screwed the finish up bad.
Oh, thank God.
I mean, it was bad.
Ooh.
And I knew that's when I said, well, I got nothing to worry about now. Everything's kosher.
I'm okay.
Well, yeah, and I did. But during the match, the funny thing, during the match, this is why you don't ever tell a guy that they're done here, it's your last night. Because him and Shane tore that building down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been there. There's a wall that sets up there where the boys sit that faces the ring. We're sitting out there, and I heard Rick tell Shane, he said, "Throw me in that wall." That wall's coming down, man. He hit that wall, and it moved it. It didn't break it. He goes, again. And he hit that wall again. And when he hit that wall, the whole wall come down. And all you could see was the workers in the back sticking their legs out. Hey, man, you're running. You're killing us here, dude. His legs were sticking out. And I was crying. I was in the floor crying. Like, God, man, you could see these guys panicking. And it went outside then. They took it outside. And Rick goes, slam me on this van right here, Shane. Slam me on this van. So they picked him up, and they started beating the hell out of this van.
Yeah.
And you come like, oh my God, I'm gonna get sued. This is a customer's van. And the whole time I'm just sitting over there laughing because what UConn didn't realize, that was Rick's van that we came in. Yeah. Rick didn't care. he fixed dents, and I mean there was dents in the hood and stuff was breaking, and I thought UConn was going to stroke. He just said, oh my God, I'm going to get sued. And Rick and Shane are just rolling, and I mean, they destroyed that van. Destroyed it.
Yeah.
And Rick didn't care.
Right. God.
But yeah, UConn, and then, the best part is, you think that was bad. We're sitting in back, they hand us the envelopes, and I'm sitting there and I open my envelope, and Rick opens him, and we both look at each other at the very same time. We look back at the envelope, look back at each other, take the envelope, turn it upside down, and shake it. There wasn't no cheese in there, man.
Oh.
It was an empty envelope. Oh. It was an empty envelope. Oh, yeah. It was an empty envelope. Rick goes, UConn. He goes, yeah. He said, here, you just have this back, man. UConn goes, what? He opened it up, and I said, there's no payoff in it. They were supposed to put payoff in it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, somebody didn't put any money in it.
Oh, man.
You're stuffing envelopes with money, and you don't pay. One thing, if you don't pay me, I'm okay to a certain extent, but you better pay Rick.
Right. I mean, that's like a Bill Watts move right there.
He got more shower time than half the people back here got ring time.
Amen. Yeah.
And UConn said, oh, I'm sorry, brother. I'll go get it. And he did. He went and got it. But, I thought, oh, this is bad. I thought Rick's going to kill somebody. This is bad.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I can hear. I love Rick's line about when somebody underpays him and he'll hand it back to him, say, "You need this more than I do."
You need it more than I do. Yeah. Oh, he's done that many times.
Yeah.
There's guys out there. There's workers out there that really does not realize that how many times I've probably saved them from getting hurt because I calm him down.
Yeah.
Keep from because they do something stupid, and I mean really stupid, and I can see it. I can see it coming. I said, he's going to kill this boy.
Yeah.
And then there's times he don't really kill him, but he stretches him from one ear to the,
It's the fact that he could.
Boy in Spring Hill. Yeah, I seen him stretch a boy in Spring Hill one time. That guy was calling for his mama.
Yeah.
I quit. And I mean, he was screaming, I quit. And Bubba Morton was, or not Bubba, but what's Shane's cousin that managed, that ref?
Brandon.
Brandon, yeah. Brandon was, he was rapping, and the guy goes, I quit. And the people in the audience said, he quits, man. He quits. Shane, Rick looked at Shane and said, don't you stop this match. Don't you dare stop this match. And he goes, no, sir, I won't. He stretched that boy for about another 5 minutes. I ain't lying. He cried for his mama.
Oh, man. I would too, though. Yeah. I can't lie. Let's just be honest. I would too. So
it was. Guy hit the ring and wasn't supposed to. He just the week before he just thought he was. I'm just going to run in here and hit the ring on Rick Reynolds.
Oh my gosh! What a moron! Oh man.
Yeah, and he didn't. I never seen him again.
Wow.
Never seen him again.
I bet.
And Bert Prentice was there and said, "Now, Ricky, you know better than do that. You hurt that boy. You shouldn't do that." And Rick looked at Bertie and said, "You need to shut up, or I'll stress you."
That would have been funny. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, "Please do."
All right, Danger. Tell us about meeting Mike Porter for the first time, and how was it working for him?
Mike Porter kind of nice. I mean, he was a nice guy. He really was. When he shook my hand, I thought, okay, I know where this is going. And yeah, I knew exactly where it was going. I heard stories, but I didn't think it.
Did he do the little
Mike
tickle?
Porter's all right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did all that stuff, and it was just like, whatever. Anyways, the one thing about Mike is, he didn't pay you if you was in town. If you went to another town, but if you were working in Nashville, he didn't like paying you. He was like what was it? Memphis didn't pay on TV. So, and Mike didn't, but Mike, the one thing Mike always did, Mike always paid Rick, and Mike always paid Shane. But Mike Porter I was excited to work there because they were on TV, and I thought, okay, this is something I've always wanted to do. Even though it's, it's local, I still get to be on TV and I'll get to promote myself. And so it was real exciting for me to work with Mike. And that's when I got hooked up with, I got to manage Tommy and Rick as the Devil's Disciples.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the greatest tag teams I ever got to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. So, obviously managing Dante and Damien, the Devil's Disciples, whose idea was that? Did they, of course you'd already been working with Rick, so I'm sure Rick's like, hey, Danger, come on, is that kind of the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick wanted to put us together. Rick wanted me to work with them because, one thing Rick used to always tell me, and I told him no, I said, no, Rick would always say, Danger, you're a lot better than what you think you are.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what you're doing. You're, and I said, okay. I said, well, I appreciate it, and I've learned it because of those guys. But, and he just said, I want you to work with us and work with Tommy. So fortunately I got to do that. And, Porter said, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. Jeff Daniels says, that's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So I learned, working with those guys, it was just the stuff they would do. Because they knew exactly what they were going to do, what each other was going to do before they did it.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
And it was so fun to watch them. And it was, that was probably one of the best times I ever had in this business is got to work with those two.
Yeah.
And then, I got to work with Hannibal. And, it was fun. It's something I've always wanted to do and, be able to be on TV and learn, because I remember the first promo I cut on TV for them. It was like, man, I was kind of scared to death, really, and I was nervous. And Charmin Charles is one that told me, man, just calm down, don't worry, but don't even think there's the camera's there. Just do just like you cut a promo.
Yeah.
And he's the one that told me, and I did, and after that, it was just like it come natural.
Yeah.
It actually come natural. My big thing was, I tell my guys, I say, I don't worry about victories. You give me victims and you'll get your victories.
There you go.
And I got that from the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love that.
They used to say that.
Yeah.
So, but it come natural, and it was just, Rick and Tommy taught me so much, and I just followed those guys. It was easy. It was easy. When you work with veterans like that, it's easy. When you work with Quinton, it's easy.
Yeah. I don't know how you wouldn't learn from working with guys like that. It would be like you would almost have to try not to, So, yeah.
Well, if you don't learn, you don't need to be in a business.
Right, exactly, because you're not progressing. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, you're just
totally. That's absolutely correct. That if you say anything else on this show, that is absolutely correct. If you're not progressing, you don't need to be in the business. Absolutely.
Exactly.
How did it feel when you first saw yourself for the first time on NWA Main Event TV?
I felt like I made it because I'm doing something that I said I wanted to do, and it came true.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't WWE or WCW or ECW, it didn't matter to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on TV. I'm working with great guys. I'm learning the business. I'm excited to be here. And I felt like I felt proud because I felt like, I've accomplished a dream. And not everybody can say, hey, I had a dream and I did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a dream and I did. I accomplished it. And it was, like I said, it's all because people saw something in me that, hey, we can teach this guy. You don't know nothing now, but we can sure enough teach you.
Yeah.
Because I was like a sponge with these guys, man. Tell me more.
Right. Yeah.
And I just felt like, I made it. So, yeah, it was exciting for me.
That's very cool, man. I don't blame you, bro. I would have been like a sponge too. And if I wasn't like a sponge, I would have figured out how to be like a sponge. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of new wrestlers and new managers and all that, that's something that also great advice there. Shut up and be a sponge. Take it in. I've never been good, and it might have got me a little heat back in the day. I have never been good about shutting up. I'm a talker, as you can tell. I've 800 podcast episodes to prove it. But I do feel like when it came time, I could absorb it and listen. Some people probably got annoyed with me because I talked too much in the locker room, I'm sure, but whatever.
It worked, though, brother. It worked.
It did. It did.
So I guess you said you talked about being in Spring Hill when Rick Stretch That Boy and Bert Prentice got to come up and said stuff. So did you ever go work for Bert?
No. Well, no. Yeah. I never really worked for Bert. I'm trying to think here. No, I never worked for Bert.
Okay.
At all.
So when you met him, what did you think of Bert when you met him?
Different. Really different.
Be honest, sugar.
Yeah, very different. I thought that, to me, he come across as like, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, and if you don't like it, you'll never get nowhere in this business without me.
Are you talking about the same Bert Prentice? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. And I never had an issue with Bert. I remember I went to that show in Spring Hill, and Bert was there with G. Gordon, and he left one of his shirts that he was going to wear, didn't bring it with him. And you know how Bert went off on us, man, you can't even, if you're going to be a manager, you got to bring your gear with you. What happened? He goes, I just forgot it, Bert. So Bert walked off, and I said, here. I said, take one of mine. And I had 2 or 3, and I gave him one of mine. He said, so I don't know if it'll fit. I said, I'm fat, if you're not. So maybe it'll fit. I hope it ain't too big. And he fit, and I can remember Bert coming by, and he goes, where'd you get that at? He goes, Chris Danger gave it to me. He goes, well, see, you need to act more like him. And I thought, dude, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
And I looked at Bert and I said, he's fine. Shit happens.
Yeah, definitely does.
But, but I really never had a lot to do with Bert. I've heard the horror stories. I've been in, the songs with the same show, just not working with him, and I've seen him. But I never worked with Bert, never had any really dealings with him at all.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mainly Porter.
All right, Chris, so talk to us about Rick's thumb and how he helped you cut better promos by poking you with it at NWA Main Event.
By poking me with it. I'd be cutting a promo, and I'd really be getting into it, and Rick would be behind me just sticking his thumb up, crack my butt. And just sitting there.
Wake up.
Doing it, and just keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it. And it was, he would do that, and it took every ounce of energy me to keep from laughing, because when you had to do it over, it cost money.
Yeah.
I mean, if people don't think it, a couple bucks. No, it cost a lot of money to keep cutting promos.
Yeah.
And he would just sit there and he would just poke at me. And Shane, we'd be on TV, and I'd go to hook Shane up on the rope, and we'd be at the hard camera, and Shane would just, when I choke him over the rope, they just he'd grab my tit and just start twisting it. I'm like, hard. And just laugh, and I'm doing everything I got to keep from laughing because I know I'm on TV. But Rick, he would get behind you and just poke you. He literally, every time we do that, he'd poke me. Finally, I said, you stand over there and bring Tommy over here. So I knew what was coming, but, he would do, and he did it out of love. He wanted to see if he'd get me cracked, and he could, but I would try everything not to do it on TV. But, yeah, he just poke you, and you just got to go with it. Loved every minute of it, and cry, and just laugh, Rick laugh. So, love you too, brother. That's what I used to tell him. I always told him, I said, if I wasn't afraid of you and you wasn't so big, you whooped my butt, I'd come after you. You realize that, don't you? Hey, he just loved that. He just eat that up, man.
That's great. So tell us how it was managing Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas.
Oh, God, that was a long time ago. That was in McMinnville. That was a long time ago. It was, I enjoyed it because they were new and they were new to me and they could really work and people loved them. And, it was an honor to work with those guys. You see them now and it just,
Yeah.
it was an honor to work with these guys. It was an honor to work with everybody I got to work with because, I've watched them and I enjoyed working with them. I worked with them a couple times, not too many in McMinnville, but I did enjoy working with them because they were well known and they could work. And they really could work. And they, I'd go out there and just follow them. I'd just tell them, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, no doubt.
And I enjoyed working with them. It was real exciting to work with them. It was somebody new because I love working with new people. And whether, I manage them or whether I'm, hitting them in the head with my gimmick or whatever, I just enjoyed doing it.
Danger, how old do you think they were at that time that you managed them, roughly?
I don't know. Let's see. I was in my 30s.
It was like 2000. It was early 2000s because they had just.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they had started TNA yet. I don't know if they
didn't. They didn't. They went to TNA right after that because I remember.
Oh, so you got them in TNA? Yeah, good job, man. You got them in TNA.
No, I wish. I wish. I wish I got them in TNA.
Yeah, I get
it. Yeah,
it
was. I told them they don't give me credit, and I told them you don't have to. Don't worry about it. No big deal. But yeah, it was early. I don't know. They were. Gosh, I was in my 30s, so maybe 40, early 40s, okay. 30, 40 somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, and then they went to TNA, and it was, I was like, man, these guys have made it. It's like James Storm. I worked with him. Hell, he stripped me down to my damn boxer shorts in freaking McMinnville. Like, where does this come from? And he goes, I'm taking your pants off. I go, okay. Just,
And now a word from our sponsor.
CHW is continuing the legacy of historic professional wrestling in Tennessee with monthly events at the Armory in Ashland City. CHW owner Mike Green has made it his mission to present the best pro wrestling shows in the Nashville area, and he has been delivering the goods. CHW Wrestling combines all the elements that Tennessee wrestling fans have come to expect. Action, suspense, athleticism, reality, stories, surprises, and excitement, all delivered by the finest professional wrestlers this state has to offer. Follow CHW Pro Wrestling on Facebook for the latest news, announcements, and show dates. And subscribe to Championship Productions on YouTube to see past events like the Ashland City Rumble and the Valentine's Massacre. Fun for the whole family with delicious and affordable concessions on site. Witness the action and excitement of CHW in Ashland City at the Armory. Family Wars, Love and Hate, Championship Gold. A CHW event is everything you're looking for in a night of live entertainment.
All right, tell us about a big bump you took in Chicago at the Elk Grove Village where you cracked your head. Did you super glue it or did you go to the hospital?
No, I went to the hospital, bro. I didn't. We were out in the ring. Their ring sets up high.
Yeah.
Their ring sets up really high. I think they had a 18 by 18. It may have been. No, it was 18 by 18, but it sets up high. And Rick told me, he said, I'm going to give you the Iggy, and once you pop up and hold can't remember. I think I was holding hold crossing. He'll move and I'll hit you with the gimmick. And I said, okay. Well, I used to wear that long black jacket. Well, that long black jacket, I'm short, and that long black jacket would drag the ground. So it gave me the Iggy, and I hopped up on the apron. And what I did is I didn't realize it, but I was standing on the jacket.
Oh.
So I couldn't move. And what happened was Rick, I hooked him and I seen him coming, and I went to turn. When Rick hit me, I was going to turn and just jump up, land on my face. Well, when I went to turn, I was on my jacket, and Rick hit me head on like a Mack truck because I couldn't turn or move, and shot me off that apron, man. And I hit my head on the freaking concrete floor, and everything just started humming. And I went, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is bad. And I was taking blood thinner at the time because the whole left side of my body would go numb for no reason. And I thought I was stroking out. So I went to the doctors, and they did all the tests, and they go, no, you didn't have a stroke. I don't know what's going on, but let me give you this blood thinner. So I was taking blood thinner at the time.
Oh, my gosh.
And, and when I hit the back of my head, hit my hip and my back. Oh, I thought I broke crap in my body.
Yeah.
And I'm laying there, and I'm kicking, and I'm screaming, and I heard one of the guys in the audience go, I hope you die, you piece of crap. And I'm like, dude, I'm really hurt here, man. Dude, I'm hurt bad, man. So I get up, I walk back to the back, hold my head. My head's busted open. But I sit in a chair, and I can't close my legs.
Wow.
I can't touch my knees together.
Dude.
Because it won't go. It hurts so bad. And I get up to go look, and now I can't move. I'm like, what is going on here? So I couldn't move. And and Rick goes, oh, you'll be fine, bro. Rub some dirt on it, brother. And I said, no, man. I said, I'm hurt bad. So we were going to fly back at the Sunday, the next day. Well, I went to the emergency room that night. I was hurt so bad I couldn't fly back. I was in Chicago at Scott Spade's house for 4 days.
Yeah.
By the way, move, man.
Yeah. By the way, I have a question to ask about that at Scott Spade's. Who is that, in your opinion? And we're not going to ask the Mount Rushmore of this, but who, in your opinion, is the best ice skater? And we were hoping, if you don't know, that maybe we could ask Scott Spade's grandmother if she knew.
Yeah. I'm gonna kill Rick. Yes, I watched ice skating with his mama and loved every minute. I mean, his grandmother loved every minute of it. And they used to rib me all the time, sitting there watching ice skating. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Look at these people, man. And
talented.
The very time they ribbed me like crazy, man. And I said, yeah, just go on, do your thing. But yes, I used to sit there with his grandmother and watch ice skating all the time, and they'd rib the crap out of me.
Well, dude, that's an awesome memory, man. You know, I bet Scott Spade's grandmother was awesome too. I just got an imagination. Oh, yeah. She probably knows territory wrestling and how to hurt somebody. You know,
she was a lovely.
Yeah, and ice skating.
And ice skating. She knew all of them. She said, we're gonna watch ice skating, Chris. I said, sure, we'll watch it, man. And I'd sit there and watch with her. I mean, I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. I don't know why, but I just do. So, but yeah, I'm gonna kill Rick when we get done. I don't know where that came from.
You don't know that. I knew that story from way back, man. Come on.
Oh, you knew it from way back. Scott told you that story, right? When you had him on there.
No, I'm just kidding. Rick told me that the other day. So.
Yeah, that's Rick.
I'm just trying not to get it
Rick. No, trust me. He ain't gonna get no heat, brother. He ain't gonna get none at all.
So Chris, I've got a little scenario for you here, okay? And I'm gonna need you to give us your best Rick imitation. But let me set up the scenario for you. So, okay. Rick has been listening to too many guys go over their matches for the 50th time. How would he sound? And give us your best Rick on that?
Oh man, God. That's pretty much what he'd do. He'd be leaning over. He'd tie his boots.
Yeah.
He'd stop me. He'd be listening. He'd stop tying his boots. He'd look up, and he'd just shake his head like, these poor guys don't know what's going on. And he'd just shake his head, and then he'd start lacing his boots again. And he'd sit back up because somebody else would be saying something else. And he'd sit up, and he would just, it was like a bad car accident or something. He'd just shake his head, and then he'd pull his hood down over his face so nobody could see him. and he'd look at me, and he'd say, he said, danger. And I go, yeah. He said, did they diz on his that viz they clizu? And I go, yes, you're right. I understand that. They do not have a clue. And because he didn't realize he did that till I told him on a trip going in the plane. I told him, I said, you do it, Rick. You do it like crazy. You just look at people. And I can remember somebody said, one day, somebody said, what's wrong with Rick? He okay? He's over there shaking his head. I just want to make sure he's all right. I go, you don't know what's wrong with him? And he goes, no, I don't. I said, that's what's wrong with him. You don't know.
Right. Right. That's it.
And they looked at me like a dumbfounded.
Yeah.
But he said, I just don't understand. He said, these kids are idiots. And he just like, help me, man. He said, I don't understand. He said, what are you going to do next? Kill somebody? I go, brother, I don't know.
Yeah. I wish we were a video podcast right now for this, but.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a visual thing. You have to see it because it was just, it's like he's just devastated that he's even here.
And I can just see his face.
You can, I don't know how to describe it. It's like he's looking at something and it just face is all scrounged up and he's like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, brother, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And he would get so mad at him sometime. He'd tell him, he said, what are you going to do now? He said, you've already broke chairs. You broke 4 tables. You've hit somebody with a kendo stick. You've set somebody on fire. You throw, flash paper at him. And it's an opening match. What are we going to do now? And they would do that. And he's like, what are you going to do, Rick? I don't know. I guess we're just going to go out there and act like a fool.
Maybe wrestle, actually. God forbid,
Yeah, exactly. Because guys don't understand. I mean, they don't. Even today, they still don't understand. The most important thing, I was always taught the 4 fundamentals of every single match that you ever have is shine, heat, come back, finish. That's a match. That's it. Shine, heat, come back, finish. And then the one that always stuck with me that I added on to that to make it 5 fundamentals of the match is I was taught by Rick and all these guys, it doesn't matter how good a match you're having. It doesn't matter what you do. If it ain't believable, you might as well not even go out there.
Make it make sense. Boom.
Got to have believable bullcrap.
Yeah.
And nobody does that no more. Nobody, and that's why this wrestling is the way it is. Not even wrestling no more. Just a bunch of guys entertaining people.
Yeah.
They ain't doing that. They're not wrestling. They don't understand the concept of business. They would know, Boogie used to always tell me, less is more, Danger. Less is more. And I didn't understand what he was talking about until he showed me. And I went, you're right, less is more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, even WWE, look at the product that they're putting out. They are not wrestlers. They are entertainers and glorified stuntmen is all they are.
Yeah.
Because there's no wrestling no more.
Yeah.
There's no storylines. There's no nothing. WWE is going to look like NASCAR in another year. I promise you. Their outfits are going to have little sponsors. They're almost there now. They're going to have sponsors all over their gimmick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're doing. It's not wrestling, and it's sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the UFC influence on them from TKO ownership, I think. So.
That's somebody, but it ain't working.
Right. Yeah.
But back to your Rick invitation, he told us that if anybody knows me, Chris Danger knows me. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, yes, I know him. God, I know him so well because I was with him for 6 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've been on the road with him, and I know what he's thinking. I know what he's doing. And I love him, and I tell him this every time I talk to him. I mean, I love him so much because he taught me so much, and not only did he teach me, but he become a friend, and he become a true friend.
Yeah.
And you can't find many true friends in this world.
No, you
Rick's
can't.
the kind of guy that'll do anything for you.
Yeah.
And Rick, let me tell you something. Rick has changed to be such a better man.
Yeah.
And I guess we all have to a certain extent, but I'm so proud of what Rick has done with his life and accomplished.
AC Rick is awesome.
It's bad before.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Rick is he is so good. And I know, I've seen Rick's temper, and it's not pretty. And he still got it, but it's not pretty. Did he tell you the story about me getting thrown out of a hotel in Michigan?
No, but we need to hear it.
Me and Rick, and we went to Michigan to work for Eric Freedom.
Okay.
Well, part of Rick's package, Eric get him a hotel room.
Okay.
And the reason being is because I smoked. and most of the guys smoke, and Rick can't handle smoke. I mean, he never could handle it.
Yeah.
It makes him literally sick. So part of his agreement was Eric would get him a room. So I checked in, and they said, yeah, here's your room. It's already paid for. I said, well, that's cool. Well, I didn't realize it, that he got a room, bought him by himself. I didn't know that. So I got the key, went upstairs, opened up the balcony, standing outside, fired up about time to start to fire up a cigarette. All of a sudden, Rick come in and goes, God, threw his bag and hit me in the back. What are you doing in here? I said, what, man? It's our room. He said, no, this is my room. And I go, okay. I said, I'm sorry. He goes, no, I told Eric it's part of the agreement. You know I can't stand smoke. Blah, blah. And I said, okay. And it didn't bother me because I understand what Rick was saying. That's just the way Rick.
Right.
Rick can talk to me like that because we're so close and it don't bother me. Well, the other guys was like, the hell is that? So I'd go downstairs to the lobby and I get my own room and hear all these guys come up, Jimmy and Ollie Gregg and all these other guys that was on the show come up and said, man, I can't believe he did that. I said, did what? He said, I can't believe he would throw you out like that, man. That's just wrong. Well, when I heard that, I went, oh, I'm fixing to have some serious fun with this. Just kick back and watch it begin. And I told him, I said, oh, man, I said, he does that to me all the time. I'm like his little stepkid. I said, you just don't even understand. I said, I said, me, I love him, but, man, I love him because I'm scared to death of him. I said, dude, man, well, by God, I'm going to go talk to him. I said, no, don't go talk to him because he'll take it out on me. Don't you go up there and do it. He'll take it out on me, man. And Rick got so upset. He was upset that he went out walking. And I can remember we were standing outside, and Rick went walking down the thing, and Greg, one of the guys that was an announcer there, he said, well, I'm fixing to go talk to him. I said, no, you're not. He goes, bullcrap, man, he can't do that to you. I said, that's all right, man, I'm so used to it. And he goes, I'm going to go talk to him. I said, Greg, you leave that man alone right now, or he'll kill you. I'm telling you. And he'll kill me. And I said, dude, I'm used to it. Just let it go. I'm used to being, abused and everything by him. Well, I just played that off. And we get over the show, and people ain't talking to Rick. People are like, man, I can't believe you. And Rick looked at me and he goes, what'd you do? I said, it sucks, don't it? And I told him what I did, and Rick just started laughing. He said, Danger, what is with you? I said, throw me out of the room again, by God. We'll go farther. And, oh, man, they couldn't stand him up there for, a short period of time.
Oh, man.
And I just started laughing. Oh, yeah. I just play it off, man. Don't tell me that because I'll play it off.
Yeah. Don't offer me an opportunity for a rib. I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly.
I love that.
I'm like Shane Morton. I'm like Shane Morton. I tried to teach him believable bullcrap.
Yeah.
And it worked. And I thought, yeah, y'all need to learn how to make people believe.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Tell us about the CCW Battle Royal on your first night. And Rick and Jimmy Blaze, and maybe estimate how many times Rick got y'all fired.
Oh, up there?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that's when he would, him and Jimmy was working in a battle royal, and Jimmy tatered him.
Yeah.
Like, bad.
Right, because it was like the first time, then the second. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and Rick goes, lighten up, brother. And he, boom, 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 did it again. He said, tell you, lighten up, brother. And he went to tater him again, and Rick looked at him and said, that's 3. And as soon as Rick said, that's 3, he went, pop, and just popped him in his eye.
Yeah.
Hard. And I said, well, that's it. I'm fired. We're fired. We might just go on. I said, Rick done got us fired again, man. We've got each other fired here. We got back to back, and Rick come back. I said, we're gone. He goes, oh, yeah, we're gone. I said, Rick. I told him 3 times, Danger. I said, I understand that, but Rick, it's a good gig. He goes, he ain't gonna hit me like that. I said, Rick. We come back here, and Jimmy goes, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tater you like that. I apologize. And I said, you okay? So I'm fine, man. I didn't mean to hit you that hard. I'm sorry. And I thought, well, damn, hit him again if he ain't gonna fire us.
Right.
He gonna keep us on. But they respected Rick so much that it was like, no, there's nothing Rick could have done because Rick just is not like that. But y'all, it was really weird when we went up there because we went up there the first time. he had every guy that worked for that company line up when we went to the school and went to the show that night in school. He had all his guys. They lined up in one big line, and they shook every one of them. They shook mine and Rick's hand, and they said, "Thank you for coming up, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you. We appreciate it." Granted, I've been in business probably, 8-9 years then. Rick's been in it, 15, 16.
Yeah.
And, and they respected Rick so much. And it was weird because I thought, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Because that's the way it should be. And it should be like that to this day, but they did. They respected Rick so much that, they listened to what Rick said.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott was like he was like a sponge.
Yeah.
I mean, he would just sit there and listen. And because we go play golf on the weekends, we go up and spend the night at his house, and then we go play golf Saturday and go to the show, and that's all we talk about is just wrestling.
That's awesome.
And he would listen and listen and listen and listen, and he would ask me questions, and I'd say, well, that's what I do, but you really need to talk to Rick. I said, he talked to Rick, and because Scott ended up being one of the best workers that come up out of there. There's no doubt. He's old school. He still believes in, the big kayfabe of the business, and all that. He just, and he really respects Rick. I mean, big time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody does, I think, just because Rick's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Put Rick and Shane in the same category. Those two guys right there, and Boogie, and even Quinton. Those guys there, it's just the stuff that they've accomplished and the things that they've done. If you can't learn from these guys, then, like I said, if you can't learn from them, then just go away because you're not either smart enough or you don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we love our territory wrestling guru and co-host with the Mo-host, so we totally agree. But
oh yeah.
Let me say something real quick. It's cool because we had Rick on the show many shows ago, and in his Mount Rushmore, he had Jimmy Blaze. And so what's cool is they went from basically him giving him a black eye in the first time match they ever worked together to now he's respects him so much, he put him in his own Mount Rushmore. So I think that's cool. And that kind of says a lot about not only Jimmy, but also Rick, so
right.
That's very cool.
And he does it. Those two really respect each other. And Jimmy's come a long way too. We'd go up there and I can remember that, Jimmy said, well, Jimmy and Dave Storm was, I've been in the business, 12 years. I said, really? I said, man, that's a long time. I said, how many matches you had? He said, I don't know. We probably have, 12 years, we probably had 100.
Yeah.
I said, excuse me? I go, we probably had 100. I said, brother, I had 100 3 weeks ago. They didn't understand because up there, they just wrestle once a month.
Yeah.
They didn't realize, down here, there's literally times I've wrestled them 4 days a week and twice on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
We wrestle all the time, and they didn't realize it, and then when they come down here and we do double shot on a Saturday, or a double shot on Thanksgiving, I just didn't understand. It was like, my God.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's cool because you guys had your own loop, basically. There was the Memphis loop and that kind of thing, but really the Middle Tennessee loop, you all had your own loop to where you had 5 or 6 nights a week you could work. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I
loved it. We loved it. So,
yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah. No, I missed it too. You're right. You miss it and I missed it, but that's cool. So what's the story about you, Rick, buzzed up and like some kind of phantom rental car radio that was going crazy?
Oh, God, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to call him and I'm going to kill him next time I see him. Anyway, Rick rents a car. Well, I'm not paying much attention because I'm just in my own little world.
Yeah.
But it's got the buttons on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I didn't drive it, but it's got the buttons on the steering wheel that adjust the radio and everything. And I was sitting in the front seat, and Buzz was in the back, and radio's on, and I said, let's find something else. So I found another station. So that's cool. And all of a sudden, Rick just reached over there and just gradually hit his finger and turned it down. I'm like, what the hell happened to the radio? I could hear Buzz in the back going, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with the radio? So I turned the radio back up, and Rick would hit a button and would change totally station. I'm like, dude, what is going on here? This is like freaking scaring me, man. So I'd do something else, and he'd hit it again, and I'm like, what is going on? Finally, I look at Rick, and he just laughed and tried not to laugh, and I said, what are you doing? And I look over, and I said, Rick, what are you you just don't like me no more, do you? Here we go again. And he just sat over there and just changed the channels, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I mean, I go back and look at it, and I'm thinking, God, Danger, you're an idiot if you didn't know what that was. Well, apparently I was back then.
Oh,
There's not much I can do about it.
I mean, I bet it freaked you out for a minute, though. Like, what is going on?
Oh, it was freaking me out, man. It was like I was doing drugs or something. I was like, what the heck? Like in my previous life. So.
Yeah. Do you have any other good car trip stories like that by chance?
Well, that same trip, Rick, I don't know what he ate. I don't know what he took, but man, oh man, he had Satan come out of his crack.
Now, this is the
not
Jamie
lying,
Dundee
man.
sausage biscuit story. No, it's Rick.
Dude, it was, I mean, it was bad. And it's like he could do it on command. 900 miles of that crap.
Oh, man.
900 miles. I was in the back seat, laying down, covered up with a damn my jacket over my nose so I couldn't smell it. And I literally, we're going down the interstate 80 mile an hour, and I literally opened the damn door just to get fresh air. I mean, it was like 800 miles, mounted some godly amount of miles. Yeah. And then we go to McDonald's, and he's doing it in line at McDonald's.
Man.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And everybody, it was just like everybody look around, and they're all looking at me. Rick turns around and points.
Yes.
And I'm like, no. And it's just like, dude, and it was like all weekend was like it. We go in the hotel room. We got a little hotel. We walk in there, and Rick, and then I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, it was bad. I don't know what he ate. I don't know if it was protein shakes or what, but it was, God, it was so bad. Yeah. And he just laughed, and Buzzy just laughed and laughed. Like, dude, man, I'm going to throw up.
He's like, you keep doing that, I'm going to strike a cigarette here. You got to stop.
I'm going to. Yeah, I should have as well.
You might have blown up the place.
It'd have probably blown up the damn car inside the car like Cheech and Chong blow the whole damn thing up. Like, God, man, you got to be kidding me. But he would do stuff like that, and I guess that's why I love working with him.
Surprisingly, he didn't tell me that one. So
I got time to tell you a story about Quinton.
Of course, always time.
Okay.
You definitely have time for that.
I don't know if Quinton. I don't know if he remembers this, but we was in McMinnville, and I don't remember if we were working for Randall or if we was working for Troy and Mark. But they put me under a hood. They needed a worker, and they put me under a hood. You remember that, Quinton?
Oh, yes.
There we go. There we go.
There's the laugh.
Here it comes. So they put me under a hood. All right. Now, granted, guys, I've only been in the business probably, I don't know, a year. So I'm still green. I'm an idiot when it comes to working in the ring as an actual worker. I know what to do. I know the move, but I'm still an idiot. They put me under a hood. All right. Now, I smoke like a freight train. Well, it took about, I don't know, probably 30, 40 seconds. I was so blowed up, I couldn't breathe.
Oh, man.
And Quinton throws me in the corner. And I took off, I get in the corner, and Quinton's in the other corner, and I take off running. And Quinton just starts, I could hear him laughing as I'm running because I look like a freaking newborn giraffe because I'm about to pass out because I can't breathe.
Oh, man.
And Quinton just died, crying in the ring, laughing. So I do something, and he lays down, gets on top of me to pin me. And I go, dude, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. He goes, it'll be over in a minute. I said, dude, I can't breathe. And he's laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
And, I thought I was going to die. But he said, Danger, I see you come across the ring. You were going so slow, and it just, I said, just start laughing. I said, no, bro, that's fine. I don't care, man. I couldn't breathe. I mean, literally, I thought I was going to pass out. Quit just laughing at all that stuff, man. Yeah, you'll be all right.
He'll be all right. Oh man,
it'll be all right.
I remember that. It's like nobody showed up. It was for there's Brian Cheatum was running it, but
oh, okay.
Troy Eaton and Mark Gordy was booking it, and they didn't even show up that night. They didn't even show up. There's only like 4 people there.
Man,
it was like me and the Saint, you and Vandy and Insane Shane. So we had to manage, and then you had
yes.
I had a hood and you put up.
I couldn't breathe, man.
Yeah, I told him, just listen to me. We're going to do everything easy. And
yeah, we did.
He's like, I'm blown up. I can't breathe.
I can't breathe, man. I said I'm blown up. No, brother, you don't understand. I'm blowed up bad, man. I'm blowed up bad. And he just laughing. I said, I'm blowed up bad. I'm blowed up bad. And then when he goes to cover me, it don't matter. I can't breathe at all.
Yeah.
And his body weight's laying on me, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna pass out. He said, it'll be just a minute. Hold on. And when they hit 3, when they hit 1, 2, 3, I was like, God Almighty, get me the hell out of here now. I barely made it to back before I pulled the hood off and started breathing. I'm sitting over in the corner. Quinn goes, you all right? I go, no.
Give me oxygen.
I've only been under a hood twice. That was for you, and then when I got to work Shane and for Terry England.
Yeah.
That was an exciting trip. So, for TV, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, we did a trip to me and Jason.
Uh-huh.
And it was Tony Falk, Boogie, Cat Taylor, Shane, and me and Jason.
Okay.
And I used to have a
Jason. Who's Jason?
Gatlin. Gatlin's
tag team partner.
Stunning Steve.
Stunning Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Stunning Jason. I always called him Jason. But I used to have a band. I had a band. I don't know if Quinton remembers. I had a band that would hold 12 people.
Yeah, I
had a band that holds 12 people. And all the heels, we'd all ride together. So I'd have half a dressing room in my van before we, get locker. Where's these people? Danger will be here with them. So I had this van, and we all rode up to Kentucky, and I thought I was going to jail that night too. But we rode up to Kentucky, and they needed some bad. First time I ever met Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
And they were doing TV, and they needed somebody to work Shane. Got it to show up, and Boogie was booking. Boogie goes, Danger, you work Shane? I said, brother, I didn't bring any wrestling guys. I'm a manager. Shane said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. So I took Jason's boots, put them on. Shane has a whole freaking store in his bag.
Right.
So he gave me a pair of pink tights with a fishnet down the side and a pink hat or a pink hood, and they call me the Pink Assassin. And Charmin Charles managed me. And I thought this is going to be the drizzling, because once again, I'm not now. We got back to the back. It was over. It was the best match of the night. It was one of the only matches they put on TV. It was so good.
Wow.
And the reason it was so good because I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Shane grabbed me and did everything. Shane said, do this, do that. And that's what I did, like me and Quentin, except I wasn't blowed up.
Yeah.
Just real simple stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember I threw Shane in the corner, and I heard Shane go, watch. And I didn't hear the rest, so I'm getting another corner, and I thought I'm going to do a big stinger splash. And I'm running, I hit the middle of the ring, and I jump up in there, and all of a sudden, what I didn't hear was watch the boot. I'm in the middle of the air, and I go, oh, this is going to hurt back. Shane lift that boot up, because ain't nothing I can do. I'm already committed.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to hurt bad. Thank God for Shane. He's so good. He kind of gave away with it a little bit. I mean, he still hit me in the face, and I took a big bump, and we got back to back. Tracy goes, man, that was a hell of a bump you took her. I said, brother, I didn't have no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in midair, and my body just went. And but yeah, we did that, and that was the only other time I was under a hood twice. Shane and Quentin.
That's awesome. That two great times, man. That's two great people to do.
Easy. Yeah. I wouldn't do it nobody else. Maybe Rick.
Maybe Rick.
Probably wouldn't do it. I doubt it, because Rick would punish me just out of being. That's Rick.
He would put extra layers in the mouth. Just so
he would. You want to learn how to dance, boy? That's what he used to tell me. Come here, I'll show you how to dance. Yeah, okay, I'm okay right over here.
The Tennessee Waltz. Here we go.
Yeah, it's all about dancing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Danger. What was the last match you were a part of?
It was probably right after my mother passed away. I did a thing for, remember, Lee Condrey had a match, or had a up there in Murfreesboro, him and the GQ.
Yeah.
That was matter of fact, I think the last match I was part of was I was up there and I was managing. I was a face managing him and Lee Condrey. I can't remember who it was, but God, can't think of it. What was the Brian Lee?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got to work with Brian Lee. Yeah, Brian Lee, and him and Brian were working together, and I managed Lee Condrey.
Okay.
And Brian, that was the last match. I think that was probably the last match I was really in, was that one.
Okay.
The rest of them I just come and hang out, because Dutch was up there selling his books.
Yeah.
And he was there trying to sell his books, and he did a little run in, and Barney, actually it was Barney come in, and Tim Brown, before he passed away, come in and give me a big squash.
Oh man, rest in peace. That's a guy I'd love to have had on the podcast, man. That's a guy I'd love to. He was so good to me early on. Like I was in a room full of young guys, younger than me, but I was much more greener than any of them. And then Tim Brown, who seemed to be at the time was the veteran in the locker room at this time. I was like Timmy, and man, it was awesome. What a great guy he was.
Right.
Yeah. So I tell you, kind of as we're wrapping things up here, Danger, we always kick it the final question to my brother, the Plastic Sheik. And this might be a tough one, but you'll do your best, I know. So Sheik, take it away, brother.
Chris, I'm going to make you think here. Maybe not. Maybe you'll have one just pops to your head. But if you had a favorite match you were ever a part of in your career, what would that be?
Gosh, man. That's so many of them. Probably, I would have to say I got to, what would it be? Probably be Rick. I was managing Rick and up in Chicago, Forsaken, and him and Eric Freedom. And I actually got flash paper in the face. And it got over because those people in Chicago, they really didn't see a lot of that stuff. So that was probably... that was probably one of the best times I had, because it worked so well and it got over so well. And me and Rick were so hated that they just exploded when I got hit with that damn flash paper. Rick actually threw it at him and hit me. So that made it even better. So, but yeah, that was probably one of the best times I had. That was probably the most memorable time I had with that one, because the angle, that was the end of the angle, and it was, those two worked so well together.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
no doubt. That's cool, man.
I did get to work against probably another one, as I got to work against one of my guys that I watched the whole time, and I really marked out bad for him. It was Wolfie. I got to manage against Wolfie a couple times, and I was such a mark for Wolfie. It wasn't even funny. I was in shock. Rick actually set that up for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you, he said, Wolfie going to have you go out. And I was like, okay, great.
That's cool. Yeah. He's a very talented wrestler, and absolutely, definitely very talented performer in the ring. Absolutely. Danger. More importantly, Danger, we're talking to you. This is awesome, man. Thank you so much for doing this and coming on and sharing your story with us. Where all these stories that Rick told me and all these questions that Quinton came up with, I was like, man, this is going to be an awesome episode. And guess what, brother? It was. And we greatly
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Thank y'all for letting me come on here. I really appreciate it. It's an honor and a privilege.
Oh, it's an honor to have you, buddy. And seriously, this was I've not stopped laughing the whole time. So thank you. Guys, you want to say thanks to Danger?
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was nice meeting you, man.
You too.
Danger.
Yes,
man.
brother.
I love you, buddy, man. We've had some great.
I love you too, brother.
Great times, man. And then,
yes, we have.
I basically got to see you from your start, and you did really from the time I met you in Leanna, Tennessee, in that little video building, and I saw he's like, this guy don't have a clue, and man, but boy, you really did something with it. You listened, you learned, you took it all in, and you really made something of yourself as a manager in this business, and I'm very proud of you, brother.
Well, thank you, man. I do appreciate it. It means a lot, especially coming from you and, guys that taught me that and was willing to teach me that, realized, maybe he does know something every once in a while. So, but I do appreciate it because I couldn't have done it without people like you and Rick and Shane and Boogie and those guys and Steve. It just come together. So thank you very much, Quinton. I do appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you for all the kind words you said about me, brother.
All right, brother.
Thank you, Danger. It's just been awesome, man. We got to get you and Rick back on sometime in the future. Get a part two out of both of you. Yeah.
Yeah, love to.
We were wondering if he was going to make a run in today, but man, he's a busy man, so.
He's a busy man, yeah.
He supplied me with some great stories. I mean, come on, ice skating with Scott Spade's grandmother was the best.
Oh, yeah. I know, man. Trust me, there's a lot more out there that there's a bunch more, so.
Well, that's part two then. All right.
All right, brother.
Thank you so much, Chris Danger. Have a great day, brother.
All right, you too. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. That was the awesome Chris Danger. We'll be right back to wrap things up with Quinton and the Plastic Sheik on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
That's right, it's the Talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon Podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon Podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Oh, Sheik and Quinton, one more excellent, fun, great episode, man. Chris Danger, dude, that dude can talk, man. He's got some great stories. It's no wonder he was a good manager, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no wonder he has that gift of gab. He's got that rap, as they say. So, what'd y'all think?
Yeah, he didn't disappoint. It was good stuff. We got to hear plenty of Rick Reynolds stories and plenty of other stuff that was great to know about his career in the business. And hey, you got Q mentioned on his Mount Rushmore. That's pretty awesome.
I know. It's very cool.
Yeah, I was shocked, and I don't think I deserve to be on there, but I'll take it though.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You deserve it.
Yeah, of course. And here's the thing, like, I love the different Mount Rushmores.
Mm-hmm.
And when you open it up, Jared, you say these guys influenced you, these guys you watched them so that really kind of opens the door for it to be anybody that you want to put on your list. And yeah, man, I was happy that Quinton was on there, so I'm glad you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, man, it was great.
Yeah. Well, once again, we greatly appreciate you all for supporting and sharing and following. The best way to keep up with us is at GMBMPW on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, all that great stuff. It means the world to us. We do always really appreciate hearing from you too. So feedback is always welcome. I got an idea, guys. So we're going to start doing, I think, some contests. I have a few things that I have gathered from time to time over my time in the wrestling business, whether it be as a manager or a podcaster. And I think I want to start doing some giveaways. So I tell you what, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, go on there and leave your best rate and review. And if whoever that is, we'll pick it. We'll pick the best one and we'll give you something free. I'll send it to you in the mail. It'll be something cool and it might be something autographed, and I promise it won't be by me. So very cool stuff. If you go on there and you listen to us on Apple Podcast, leave us a 5-star rating and a cool review, and you might just win something very cool. So I don't want to tell you what it is because you might be like, hey, I'll do 2 reviews. I'll go on my wife's phone and do it. But whatever, you work it however you like, but you'll get something cool, I promise. So just do that for us and we're good to go. But anyway, other than that, I don't have anything else for today. We've got a great guest next week. We promise. Just tune in and it'll be there. Other than that, guys, y'all got anything else?
Good interview. Glad to be a part of it and looking forward to the next one.
All right. Q?
Buy a shirt.
Daggone right. That's right.
There you go.
All right. Well, for Chris Danger, the Plastic Sheik Jared Street, the Territory Wrestling Guru Quinton Quarisma, and myself, this has been Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. We'll see y'all next time.
Don't forget.
Today, we beat Booty Call, and we should be the #1 contenders, but no, the Heartbreakers say they are. Well, that's fine, Heartbreakers. You see what happens when you mess with the devil's disciples. Because see what I tell these 2 guys right here is I tell them, don't worry about victories. You give me victims and you'll get your victories. And you 2 boys were on the top of our list as the first 2 victims. So tell them about it, Dante.
Heartbreakers. Who's the #1 team now, big boys? Who'd you say was the #1 team? I think you got it straight now because it's the Devils. We should have the title shot tonight, not you guys, because we proved what we're about. Booty Call, you shine them up because that's a matter of time, brother, because the time is running out.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
This has been a James Rock Street production.